Welcome to Tabletop Gaming with Juice. Today is day 27. What are the essential tools for good gaming? What are your essential tools for good gaming? So I've told you guys before, I really like to use miniatures. I love to use a flip mat or terrain. I love it. I think it adds to the experience, and I think it covers up questions of placement that always seem to come up when you don't use miniatures. So for me, the absolute essential things you need, everybody needs a book. So for example, with 5th edition, we own 3 players' handbooks, one for me, one for my wife, and then one for the table if people don't bring their book. I have a DM screen. Even before I had my DM screen, before my previous players bought it for me, I would use a DM screen, or whether it was for Pathfinder or whatever, I would use a DM screen to at least hide what I had behind my screen. Now, what am I hiding? Some would say, oh, you're hiding your dice roll so you can fudge them. No, I actually like to be able to hide my notes. I don't want the risk of somebody being able to see what's coming up or seeing anything like that. I also put my miniatures behind the map or props, and so I like to keep all that behind the screen, because I think the surprise is sometimes really cool. Like, I've had dragon miniatures that I plopped out there and they were like, oh my gosh. Now, I've had players look over the screen and see the dragon miniatures too and be like freaked out. So I've had that happen. But that first moment you plop it out there is awesome, especially if they tend to be a little bit afraid of being able to handle these things. So those things I think are essential. I think a dry erase mat with some dry erase markers and eraser, paper, pencils. Now, some of the stuff that, I think isn't kind of self-explanatory for this, I love random generators. When I'm doing my prep, I actually plan random encounters. I know that doesn't make any sense. Usually I will roll out what my random encounters are, like if it happens in the forest, if it happens on a trail, if it happens in the mountains, if it happens in a dungeon. I plan all that out. I use a lot of the Pathfinder Game Mastery Guide tables for the stuff like that. And I plan out how many. All that stuff is usually written down in case they fail a perception check or whatever, the rolls dictate it, at the table. That way I'm prepared. And I also use Donjon a lot. I think that's how it's said. I love the tables there. Those are good. So those are for me, those are essential tools. Now, I'm not a fan of dice apps, whether it's, even if it's an online game, I don't like dice apps. I would rather people use real dice almost every time. I trust the honor system. There's just something about rolling dice that's better than pushing a button to roll dice. Relying on a program to tell you what you rolled. I will always prefer dice. Now, obviously, if I'm playing in someone's game and that they want to use the apps, that's their choice, and I will respectfully do that. But I do prefer dice. So yeah, that's just some of mine. Miniatures, I'm fine with using pawns. Miniatures are important to me. Yeah, in fact, my wife used to be anti-miniature until we started using them, and now she loves them. I used to be anti-miniature until I started using them. Now I love them. So yeah, that's it. That's my thoughts on some of the essential tools for good gaming. Ultimately the screen I think helps, but you gotta have a low screen. You can't have the kind that stand up like, portrait. You gotta have landscape. Landscape's the way to go. So landscape, no taller than 8 to 9 inches. I've seen shorter ones, I think, in the past. I've seen people use CD cases, which is funny because I first saw it online, didn't think anyone would ever do that, and then I played in a game where somebody used CD cases, and I was like, oh, interesting. So, it was Jerry out in Grand Rapids. But yeah, so anyways, that's it. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share your thoughts below. Tomorrow is day 28, and it's what film or series is the biggest source of quotes in your group? Yeah. So, tomorrow. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.